Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you a review of Season 1 of Showtime's Shameless. And the show's been on for a while. In fact, I think they just finished their sixth season a night or so ago. Um, but yeah, I'm behind. You guys know how it goes, though. But I've been watching it, slowly picking away at Season 1. I just finished it last night. And, it's very different from the shows I usually watch. I don't watch a lot of comedies, but, once in a while I do, but Shameless, I'll say, it really did impress me. It's not just a comedy either, it's sort of what, you kind of call a dramedy. It is, for the most part, a comedic type show, but at the same time, it does have more serious, type moments that are actually really played off and done really well, I think. We'll talk more about that a little bit later in the review. But it's just a really, really, really good show. I already really like it. I'm pretty sold on it already. I'm planning on buying a couple seasons of it already, at least already. So I just think it's an awesome show. It's already becoming one of the best comedic type shows I've seen. And just so you guys know, some of my other favorite comedy shows of all time. I loved King of Queens. The Office is really good too. I even have a weird soft spot for Full House, which is a hell of a lot different than this. But I'll say Shameless is probably already past Full House for me at least. It's kind of getting right up there with The Office and King of Queens already for me, so that says something, I think. And Shameless is just so different than any of them, though, really, because it just has a style of the way it goes about its storylines and its characters, and a way of going about these situations, and it has a certain energy about it I've never really seen with the show before. I was telling my girlfriend about it, or my parents, and which is kind of awkward, but luckily neither of them have seen the show yet. But it has this chaotic atmosphere. It's okay, so I should just tell you about the cast first, and then talk about the general feel of the show and stuff. It's a great cast, by the way. You have William H. Macy as Frank Gallagher, and he's the father of the big family. Except he's kind of he's just a drunk basically. He's not taking care of his kids or anything like that. He's just kind of off doing his own thing, and the rest of them are kind of left to fend for themselves. If it wasn't for the older sister, who we'll talk about in a minute. But he's sort of one of the two main characters on the show, I'd say. And William H. Macy, of course, is a very credible actor. He's done tons of films. I feel bad saying that I haven't actually seen a whole lot of his work, but I know he's a very reputable actor. And he does a really great job as Frank in the first season, for sure. Then you have Emmy Rossum as Fiona Gallagher, and she's the oldest sister, and she's the one sort of holding them all together. She's the one who's taking care of them, working all these odd jobs, or getting them around in the morning, different things like that, trying to keep them in line. So she has a lot of weight and a lot of pressure on her shoulders. Her issue is that she just never allows herself to sort of take a breath and think of herself and have fun and be happy on her own. But she really does care about her family too, and Emmy Rossum just does such a great job in the role, man. Like I said, it's a really funny show, but at the same time, it has some good serious moments already in season 1, and Emmy Rossum is a big part of that. I'd say Emmy deserves an Emmy, really. There's a scene, I think it's episode 9. There's an episode or two that has to do with their mother coming back, Monica, and the scene of Fiona sort of running down her mother, just really just tearing her a new one verbally. It was really an emotional scene, and Emmy Rossum was made it so damn believable, and I absolutely loved it. She does a great job on the show. So in a way, Fiona and Emmy Rossum, are sort of the heart of the show for sure. They're sort of the core of it. And I just think she's a fantastic lead for it, so I really like her quite a bit. And then you have Justin Chatwin as Steve, or sort of Jimmy, And it's kind of funny because him and Emmy Rossum were both in Dragon Ball Evolution. They probably have made a joke about that movie on the show before. I wouldn't be surprised. But I think Justin Chatwin actually does a good job on the show too. And like I said, he goes by the name Steve, but his name's actually Jimmy. And we found out a little bit more about that, kind of more in the second half of the season, I'd say. But even though he's hiding all this, he's sort of like a car thief, and then he sort of belongs in this rich type family, but he supposedly says he kind of wants to get away from that. He wants to be something else. He wants to sort of be someone else in a way. And he's sketchy, but at the same time, I find him to be kind of a fun, interesting character. He's definitely a more interesting love interest for Fiona than Tony would be. Tony's a local cop, who knew Fiona growing up, and he sort of still has a thing for her and stuff. So he ends up, really looking into Steve and stuff as the season goes along. But Tony's nice and stuff like that, but I just find Steve to be a lot more interesting. But I'm kind of worried about how long they're actually going to keep him around. But still, I think he does a good job for his role. And who knows, maybe he'll become more of a douche in the next 2 seasons. I don't know. So maybe I'll be fine with him leaving, but we'll see. Then you have Carl Gallagher. He's besides Liam, he's the youngest sibling, the youngest Gallagher that we know about. Anyway, he's fine too. He doesn't have nearly as much screen time as the others do, but he's a kid that just knows more than he probably should, and they all know more than they probably should. But Ethan Kukowski, does a fine job too. Shanola Hampton, as Veronica, she's one of the next door neighbors, and she's probably Fiona's best friend. She does a good job too. She's very supportive of Fiona, and she tries to help her out, but also sort of try to get her to help herself too in a way. And she sort of has these weird cam show type things too. And then you have Steve Howie as Kevin Ball. He's basically ends up being Veronica's husband. He's living with her in the next house over. And he's a really likable guy too. He's the bartender at the local place they go to. So you see him with Frank a lot. But he's one of the few actual decent guys on the show. Really, he's a little bit closer to normal than some of the other ones are, I'd say. I could just keep going on and on about this cast, but then you have Cameron Monaghan as Ian, and a lot of us know Cameron in the role of Jerome on Gotham recently, so it's kind of fun to go back and see him on this. And he's one of the 2 older brothers, and he does a good job too. His secret is that he's actually gay, and so he's kind of dealing with going around hiding that a little bit as the season goes along. And I think he does a good job with it, and story ends up developing with Mickey, a local hoodlum type character, and then this whole thing with Cash, who he works with at the gas station. It's a little bit interesting, and it's probably a good idea that they had a character like that. Then you have Jeremy Allen White as Philip or Lip Gallagher. And he's becoming one of my favorites on the show. I'd say my favorite character is probably Fiona, then maybe Frank, then after that I'd say it's probably Lip and Steve. Not entirely sure though. But Lip, he's a really intelligent kid. He already has a college level intellect really, and so he's really not smarter than you'd initially think, but he's just not really pursuing anything yet. But to Fiona, he's probably the second to her as far as who could actually be capable of taking care of these kids. And he really has a grudge against Frank. They all do, but he just really holds a big thing against him. And then towards the end of the season, it just gets worse. And he beats Frank down a couple times. But I always find that pretty fun and satisfying, even though I like Frank in a way. But still. Let's see, then you have Debbie, she's the littler sister. But, she has an intelligence and maturity about her, too, that the rest of them don't always have. But she also has her other quips, with her loneliness and things like that, too. But yeah, though, that's kind of like the main cast of it, really. Then of course you also have Joan Cusack as Sheila. She's one of the neighbors, the mother to a love interest for Lip. Who's kind of this is a big thing to say, but whore. You would call her, I guess. I mean, that kind of becomes a topic of discussion towards the end of the season, especially. But Lip ends up kind of falling for her, and they end up getting closer than either of them ever really planned on. And then she has a pretty bad relationship with her father. Her name's Karen, by the way, I should say. Played by Laura Slade Wiggins. And, she actually becomes a seriously more likable character as the season goes on, I think. And, I forget her father's name, but, it actually goes pretty dark because her father ends up actually committing suicide at the end of the season because, Karen had gotten, completely pissed at him when they were trying to reconnect. Well, she was only agreeing to reconnect so he would get her a car, but, he took her to this, Christian type, thing to get her, re-purified in the eyes of the Lord, and she had to confess all her sins, detail after detail, and her father called her a whore, with everyone else around, and, she was just completely pissed at him, so she made a video, having sex with Frank, and that put a strain of her and Lip's relationship, and her father just got taunted by his co-workers and stuff, so he just jumped in like a fishing hole, and, So it can be a dark show, too, it has, like I said, it has a lot of humor to it. It's very much a dark comedy for sure, though. Black comedy, I should say. But again, it does deal with serious subjects in the town they're in. It's gritty, it's you can tell it's a kind of a rundown part of Chicago that they're in. So the cast is great, and also talking about the setting, it is set in Chicago. They film in Los Angeles, though. But they do have, some of the exterior shots actually in Chicago. I'm not sure how that works. Why don't they just film all of it in Chicago? But there's probably something I don't know. But still, it looks really nice. I think that the whole environment really looks nice. The whole cityscape, it looks nice with it. They do a good job with their camera work, too. So the cast is really good, like I said. And I was going to talk about, a certain energy the show has, too, It has a really chaotic feel to it. I was going to compare it to sort of how Fiona probably feels taking care of all these kids, It's really chaotic, really everything moving along at once. There's never, a dull moment, really. I'm not really exaggerating about that either. There's never, a slow, boring moment or anything like that. It just really has this chaotic atmosphere that really fits, like I said, with the premise of what Fiona's having to do. But at the same time, it doesn't feel rushed or anything like that either. They do build storylines, they do kind of develop their characters, which is something I was really impressed by. And like I said, it does have some really good serious moments with the Fiona and Monica thing, as well as some of the stuff with Ian and Lip and Frank once in a while too. It's just a fantastic show that really mixes in comedy and drama very well, I think. There's a ton more I could say. I could, talk about my favorite episodes and stuff. Every episode's good. Every episode sort of stands out with the individual stories that are going along, but they also, build up some of the more main plot points as it goes along, too. I just think it's a really, really nice show. It might be a little bit difficult for me to review every season because, maybe things won't necessarily be so different than the next season, but, I'll probably talk about it again at some point for sure. Like I said, I'm planning on buying it. It's just a really good show. You guys should definitely check it out. I was actually told to check it out by someone on spoilerit.com, and I finally did, and it's an awesome show, so thank you. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. So you'll probably see a Daredevil tribute for me uploaded later, so you have that to look forward to. And so if you guys enjoyed this one, check out Shameless for sure. I know it's also based on a UK TV series, but I've never seen it, and many others say the US version's better anyway, so I'm going to stick with this for sure. Great cast, great writing, dialogue, and it's just a really good show all around. So yeah, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Movie Pilot, for spoiler.com. Catch you guys next time, and peace.